Good morning. It is Monday, April 15th, and Israel got invaded by Iran. I've kind of been saying, hey, over the weekend, I had a friend who held QQQ, couldn't sell it on Friday, didn't want to sell it on Friday because they were down. I said, it's going to go back up to 60 at some point in time. Hold on to it. She kind of has made out, I think, like a bandit because pre-market, we are up over 60. And yeah, here in the 4 hour, it got you in at 59.88, got you out in the afternoon. So yeah, 2% loss, but now you're looking at a gain. Not a bad deal. Again, if you had the cojones to hold on to it. I did in the paid newsletter, I did a complete analysis of everything. It is tax day. Make sure you pay your taxes. The free portion of the paid newsletter, if you didn't read it this weekend, is really good because I did my personal taxes this weekend. TurboTax told me it was going to take me an hour and a half, wound up taking me like 5.5 hours. It is what it is. I am not a tax professional, but a few things that I learned in my taxes, you should understand in April today, what you're going to pay in taxes for 2024. Not necessarily what you paid in 2023, but what you pay in 2024. You should add up your income. You should understand what your retirement contributions are. You should also be able to optimize things like long-term capital gains versus short-term capital gains, long-term losses against long-term losses, short-term losses. There should be a plan. Remember, dividends are great, but there's a difference between qualified and non-qualified dividends. Qualified dividends are taxed at 0%, 15%, and 20%. Non-qualified dividends are income. So yeah, it is what it is. We're in earnings season. This is what the paid newsletter was all about. If you want anything, sign up, dailystockpick.substack.com. It is free during the week, and I will include it free today. There is an alpha pick. There is a new alpha pick, surged 400% in the past year. Alpha picks, if you don't know, it is 2 stocks per month. Alpha picks are 2 data-driven stocks per month. Alerts when to sell, when to buy. The stock picks over multiple core sectors. Access to alpha picks, you get it. There is a discount, $449. You go to the link tree down below and sign up. There is a new alpha picks. And a new alpha pick, this particular stock, 400% in the past year, 43% in sales, 283% in earnings per share. Small cap stock selected as top stock for 2024. This stock has experienced price swings, including retreating in March after a 10K filing delay. AlphaPix team investigated the delay and short report claims, performed a site visit. They performed a site visit. This is the benefit that you get paying $449 at their 300,000 square foot warehouse in New Jersey. And interviewed the company CEO. Based on their findings, the stock's excellent investment fundamentals and quant metrics, the Alpha team confidently supports the Alpha Pick and stocks quant buy. Now, if you don't subscribe to Alpha Picks, but you have Trendspider, as part of the Daily Stock Pick group. You've emailed me, you've imported everything. It's in this watch list. It's in the Daily Stock Pick watch list. So you don't think that you have to sign up. It's going to be in there. You just don't get the analysis. So if you have Trendspider, it is in the watch list. So as you scan, you will be able to basically scan for the Alpha Pick. Yeah, it is what it is. There's a couple of quotes that I wanted to read you. And it's more about the situation. Remember, the Middle East is a mess. Oil went down. Oil shot up. Bitcoin went down. We've got a lot of volatility, which means great trading. This quote I thought was really good. This remains a dangerous situation, but risks to oil and markets may be a bit less than feared as on Friday. Krishna Guha from Evercore ISI, Senior Managing Director, Head of Global Policy and Central Bank Strategy Team, wrote in a note. Guha added that the key question remaining is how Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, bless me, will respond. His name sounds like a sneeze. Will respond to the attack. And I'm not a fan of Netanyahu. I am just not a fan of his at all. The Biden administration has made it clear it does not want Israel to retaliate, noted Guta, provided that Netanyahu looks like he is willing to follow U.S. advice, which I think he is, There may be some element of a relief rally in the markets Monday. However, our colleagues in the energy team do not expect a big retracement in the price of oil. So what do you do with oil? You trade UCO and SCO. UCO is the triple levered ETF on the futures of Bloomberg crude. So right now it is down 1.33. This is at 35. The 4-hour algorithm, it doesn't work really well on this one. The 65-minute algorithm, if we look at that one and we run this, the 65-minute, we can 65-minute. It loses you 17%. So I really don't have a strategy for this one. Find a strategy that works for this. The 4-hour works, I think, on the SCO, but you can do this. What is really good, by the way, is there's a couple of them, and I screenshot them from Seeking Alpha. The top ETF gainers and losers. The top ETF gainer on Friday was UVIX. That's the VIX. And so with the volatile market, you want to trade the VIX. This was up 16.75% on Friday. 16%. Look at this candle of 15.79. Now, the 4-hour algorithm in Trendspider got you in at $9. It's a decaying asset. This is not one you want to hold on to. But this one got you in at $9. So UVIX is one, and then UVXY is another one. The VIX, a lot of these trackers are kind of broken and not really great. This is a 12%. It's supposed to be a short-term futures pro shares, so it's supposed to be triple levered, but it's probably not triple levered. You know, the algorithm got you in at 34. You have a 1-for-5 reverse split. It's just crossing the 200-day. This one doesn't stay above that 200-day very long. So you do want to trade the VIX. I think that's probably a good one. Let's look at Friday's market. Friday's market was just a bloodbath. I mean, it's just, you're not going to get a lot of scans up, but I think you're going into earnings season. Goldman Sachs beat, Schwab beat. We'll talk. I won't go into details on those, but they both beat. Bank earnings were good. Friday's a bloodbath with the bank earnings going down. It's just. There's nothing big about it, but this is why you don't have a lot of scans. We're still in a bull market. We are still in a bull market. Again, paid newsletter subscribers, you got a ton of analysis, so I won't go into it today. I'm going to wait to see what the algo gives me today. Friday got me out, with 2.7% loss. Was it? No, it's a 0.086 loss. I've said it before, even if you're not a paid newsletter subscriber, it's just going up and down. This is a range that we're getting in. And my guess is that we're going higher. So that's Friday's biggest movers in the market. Goldman Sachs, they rose. Piedmont Lithium, medical property soared 17% following the announcement of sale of its majority interest in 5 Utah hospitals. That is a medical properties as a REIT. Alcoa rose 5%. Biggest losers, NMRA, not mRNA, but NMRA. This is Neumora Therapeutics, plunged 14%. That's just bio stuff. I mean, again, bio stuff, it is what it is. Tesla confirmed layoffs, 10% of its global workforce. That's huge. I think that's admitting that they may have a demand problem. That may be the admission that they have a demand problem. What are you doing with this stock? Here it is on a weekly. I've said this before. If the margins on this earnings that are next week, I believe, April 22nd, if the margins are bad, you're going to see it pull back down here. Somebody wrote to me, it's not possible it's going to pull back that far. Yes, it is possible. If the margins are that bad and they're laying off 10% of their workforce, yes, it's that bad. So you could get that one down there. So Tesla confirms that. It's still not a buy. In the 4-hour algorithm, we can run this on the 4-hour algorithm, which, by the way, makes you 72% over 24 months. Whereas if you just bought 2 years ago and held, you're down 49%. So the algorithm helps you out. And their earnings are coming up next week. And if you want access to the algorithm, Trendspider has a sale going on, $149 per month. That's 25% off, or $74.40 per month for 12 months. That's $892. So if you sign up for the year. So if you want the 4-hour algorithm and you want to get going on Tesla and knowing when to buy. It has you in at 172.91. I've told you, I think that is part of the 59% of the losses. And you are in danger of losing, but it hasn't let you down too much. In pre-market, you're at 170. I think if you can get this at 160, buy a small position. If you want to buy $1,000 of Tesla, then I would buy $100 of Tesla if you get it in at 160. I would buy 100, and then if it goes back to 170, you buy another $100. If it goes back to 160, you buy another $100. I think we're going to be in this little bounce situation for a while. But Tesla, I think it's a demand problem, honest to God, and I think they're going to be forced to do discounting again. This is Friday's Catalyst Watch. This is Bitcoin halving event this week. It's huge. Bitcoin. It is going to be watched all week. You're going to see Coin, Riot, Mara, Hut, CleanSpark, MicroStrategy. Everything in Bitcoin is going to be going nuts. Bitcoin, in fact, if we go to Seeking Alpha and we type in BTC, because we can track the price of Bitcoin. And what I want to show you is, let's see, summary. We'll go to the chart and we will look at here versus the S&P 5-day. Look at Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin. I mean, remember, Bitcoin trades 24 hours, so 7 days a week. That's why you're seeing nothing here in the S&P. But we had a big drop when Iran sent those missiles. You know, where you at 66,000? You're getting to 76,000. I do not own Bitcoin outright, and I don't suggest. I do suggest that people own Bitcoin outright. I do suggest that. If you're going to own Bitcoin, just own it outright. The reason I don't own it outright is because I don't trust myself to trade this 24/7. I will get sucked into trading 24/7, and then the stock market will let me down, and I won't like it, and it'll be what it is. I mean, honestly, it'll just be what it is. But you know, understand Bitcoin. It's just fluttering. It will go back to. I think you're going to get to $100,000. So that's the big catalyst watch. You've got a Boeing event, Bitcoin halving, and new eyes on Reddit all week. The Bitcoin halving all week. American Express, Bank of America all week. Google. Read this. You know, you can see what's going on during the days. There's a couple of big things that are happening this week, and I wrote it in the paid newsletter. And first off, it's Netflix earnings. Netflix earnings are coming out on Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. Let's see. It is April 18th. So 15, 16, 17. It is Thursday after the bell. That is this week's newsletter. Netflix is coming out with earnings. I did an analysis in the paid newsletter. I won't go into the analysis. Let's just say it's a buy. I mean, if you're going to follow a douche on the internet, let's just say it's a buy. But if you want an actual analysis, subscribe to the newsletter. It's a free 7-day trial. I won't let folks down with the paid newsletter. I worked on that one a lot, and there's a lot of analysis in there, charting and fundamentals. Taiwan Semi, another one where I put in some they're reporting on Thursday as well. I think it's Thursday after the bell. April 17th. No, I'm sorry. It's Wednesday. Wednesday after the bell. Or no, Thursday before the bell. Taiwan Semi. We know that they had a record number of things. We're going to hear about the earthquake, how that affected. We're going to hear about their the fabs, the plan for the $7 billion that they got. Taiwan Semi. Good stuff. And you've got Bank of America. And these are just core portfolio stocks that have earnings this week. I will post Seeking Alpha Premium. If you sign up for Seeking Alpha Premium, what's nice is you import your portfolio, and then you can find out which stocks have which earnings when that you follow. That's what's really nice about Seeking Alpha Premium. Import your stuff, find it out. It's a great service. Again, I think it's $189 for the year. It is my top fundamental pick. I tell you, go over here. You go to Linktree on the second link, and I save you $50. The biggest thing about Seeking Alpha Premium is you get to search, read articles without ads. You get to see things, analysis that you wouldn't normally see. I mean, just go to home. And you can do the entire podcast yourself because there's trending news, there's trending analysis, there's articles you've read. You can save all this stuff. There's also stock gainers and losers. Look at Global Life, which we brought up on Friday. That was up 20%. Arista Networks, which is a favorite of mine, which we'll go into. I think somebody asked me about it, so I'll do it on social request. Down 8%. Look at the mid cap. Altrium, Wolfspeed, Play, Dave & Buster's under the small caps. Industrial stocks, the latest quant buys in industrials, Delta Airlines, GOGL, which is a shipper. I've traded that one before, and they're big on that. Tech communication stocks, Okta, T-Mobile, Qualcomm. This is what Seeking Alpha Premium gets you. It is basically finding, and there's a lot of questions I get about dividends. I'm not a big dividend fan, but there's a thing called dividend aristocrats and champions. Here they are ranked by Seeking Alpha Quant. Cardinal Health, which is an alpha pick. That's the number one. Yield 1.97. Notice that you don't see any 15 or 20% up on here. You do see Enterprise Products with a nice 7% EPD. You see NN, a REIT with 5%. You see New Jersey Resources Corporation, which is probably a REIT as well, 4%. You see Federal Realty, which is a REIT at 4%. But you don't see 10 and 15%. And the reason you don't, PepsiCo has a 3% yield forward. Clorox Company, 3% yield forward. RTX, government contractor, which is defense, 2.36%. Again, I'm not a huge fan of REITs or big dividends, but these are aristocrats and champions. And you get all this with Seeking Alpha Premium. You get all of this analysis. So I really, really like this stuff. In fact, one of the biggest ones that is up here, AAPL, if we go and look at it, because Apple's the biggest one, the valuation's crazy. Apple loses top smartphone maker, crown to Samsung. Shipments were down about 10% year over year. The news on Apple keeps getting worse, and I still say it's a buy. I still say it at 170, it's a buy. In pre-market, it's at 175. Here in Apple, if we go and we look at the chart, it's just kind of floundering. It has that nice big run on a down day. You were up. You're in at 172. You're trading at 175. That just looks ugly. That's a chart that I wouldn't want to trade, but we're seeing the button hook. Now, part of the thing here, look, when it dipped down below the 50-day, and I've gone over this, when it dips down below the 50-day, that's when you want to buy it. Look, this is just since 2018. It dipped below the 50-day here, dip below the 50-day here, dip below the 50-day here, dip below the 50-day. Look at when it touches the bottom of that Bollinger Band. What does it do? It comes back up. The problem is your Bollinger Bands here aren't super expanded. You've got the MACD super low. You've got the RSI coming off of oversold territory at 38 up to 40. You just haven't seen this. So Apple, in my mind, is a buy. You know what's the other buy? Citi said that NVIDIA, if we go over here and we look at NVIDIA, because I have a thing, NVIDIA. Citi says NVIDIA is bullish. Oh, let me type it in right. NVIDIA right here, gains as Citi opens 90-day positive catalyst watch. Again, they're big on this one. You should be big on it too. So again, this is part of understanding, when Wall Street says strong buy. I mean, look at Wall Street. Here's the price target. You've still got 11% upside. The average price target is 986, and that's not outdated. That is not outdated. Look at the valuation. Now, the quant has it as a hold because the valuation's an F. The PEG, which Steve loves, is actually below the sector median, but the PE is just too high. And are you looking at double orders? I don't know. We looked at the ETF gainers. We looked at the top champions. I will include in the newsletter. I saw some great possible undervalued large stocks. Ford, Banco. I'll put this in the newsletter. And then there's an interesting chart that I saw too. Most shorted stocks, and these are from a guy with a Bloomberg terminal who I subscribe to. I forget who it is. Tom Lee on Friday. Tom Lee has officially blocked me on Twitter, so you will hear less of Tom Lee. I don't understand why he blocked me, but he did block me. Now, CNBC's closing bell. The probability of a June cut has been reduced, but it can come back if we have a good April and May CPI. He's not telling a lie. June rate cut, it's a possibility, was out. That's why we're seeing down. It is what it is. But watch that video. I'll include it in the newsletter. Fisher, hi, Gary. Your podcast is the best. ANET is taking a beating this morning. What are your thoughts on the recent double downgrade? ANET, let's take a look at it because this is a solid gainer. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This is the range that you're seeing just since January of the year. You're seeing this range. And I said, hey, if we break out above this range and we sustain it, good. We couldn't sustain it. So you just pulled back. So your support level is probably, I mean, we can pull the volume level back to where this really started gapping up. Let's go back here. We're going to go pull it back to this earnings back in July 2023. July 2020, that's almost a year away. You look, we've built this volume shelf at 263. I mean, is it crazy to think that 263 is a support level? No. Quant has it as a strong buy. The only valuation is a D. Now you look at the forward gap, they're trading right around that. So it's a little bit extended, but it's still a strong buy in the quant. So I can't argue with that. Now, I don't think that you take it out of your list of things to buy. If you want this particular stock, I'd rather try and get it into an ETF. Again, it's extended, but look at how far that MACD has fallen. The algorithm has you out, got you out with a nice 0.66% gain. So it's not horrible. This one, the algorithm makes you 63% versus 106 if you bought and held. 106, 22 positions. So it's about once a month. I don't think you lose that one. So Fisher, stay in that one. Gary, what do you think about MODG charts? Topgolf, and this is Topgolf, and it's Callaway. I love it. I loved the William. I loved playing Topgolf. Has you in at $13.79. You're at $15.99. Your earnings are coming up in May 7th, so your MACD is crossing down. I would say don't start a position right now. This gap worries me about 1440 right there. So from a chart standpoint, I don't like it. I mean, look, I don't like it. I don't like it from a chart standpoint. Look at that 50-day. We're still moving negative. That hasn't changed. If that 50-day starts to flatten out, maybe start a position there. But look at where you're trading. You're at $16. In March of 2020, the world was shut down. You were trading at $16. What makes you think that this doesn't have upside? But again, I'd rather see you buy it on the upside. Now, MODG right here, it's the valuation and the momentum. I mean, it's just, yeah, valuation C. Looks like the peg, they're trading above the peg, even on the forward. So they're not I went out on a Sunday with my buddy, couple hours at Topgolf. It was $105. $105. So I do think that you're on the right path. I think this weekly chart, I'd rather see that 50-day move positive. Again, I think it's just a valuation. I think it's just overhyped. I think there's some issues there. Let me read this one. Hi, Gary. This is from Josh on email. I'm wondering your thoughts on NTR. It doesn't seem like has any positive news has helped the stock. Analyst ratings seem to vary greatly and more than the stocks in the portfolio. I'm a bull on this stock, but I'm now starting to question, am I being foolish? Here's NTR. Now, NTR is a fertilizer company. It's Nutrien. And this is what I'm going to tell you. You have to look with stocks like this that took a huge run up after the pandemic and the Ukrainian war and blah, blah, blah. You have to take a look at where you were trading pre-pandemic. And you were trading pre-pandemic. Let's go back to January 2020. You were trading at 46. Now, I do see, and I drew this in for I sent Josh a chart. I said, I do see that this 54 right here, 54.74, provides you some support there. And there's some support. But you were trading at 45 and 46 before the pandemic hit. What makes you think that a company doesn't go back to there? Now, we can go back to Seeking Alpha and we can type in NTR and we can look. It's a hold. The valuation's an A. I mean, again, it's an A. So you can't argue with the fact that it should be going higher, but it's not. Their momentum is getting a D. They just have no momentum. Stocks are kind of like a rolling ball. If you roll a ball uphill, at some point it comes back downhill. If you roll a ball downhill, it's not going to stop. That's momentum. So you want momentum in this stuff. And so, Josh, I would say there's better places in the market than NTR. Henry Citano from wants me to look at Citibank. Shitty bank. They just had their earnings. The earnings were better than what they're getting credit for. I mean, they're up 1% at 60.24. I think it's an $80 stock. You look at a weekly on this one. I think you get back up here to 78.79. I think you do. The 50 days moving positive. We just talked about it with Topgolf. 50 days moving positive. This one, if this one gets a golden cross, it's now got this 21 day that's crossing up. But you've got confirmation, and you've got a whole bunch of people that are holding this at 65 up here. They're still holding it. So I think Henry, I think Citibank, if we go over here to Seeking Alpha and we look, it's a hold. The valuation's a B+. You can see the peg forward, 0.38. I think you've still got room to go on Citibank, shitty bank. So Henry, I like it. I don't own it. I don't think I own it. I may, but I don't. I have owned it in the past, but I don't think I own it now. I own Bank of America. Jonathan from Spotify wants me to look at American Airlines. I am not a fan of airlines at all. I am a fan of trading airlines, but I am not a fan of airlines overall. I think they're just too volatile. They lose too much money. And this one in particular, you're going into the earnings with a death cross. I mean, that 50-day is going to cross under that 200-day. Your MACD is super low. This just has problems. And we can look at American Airlines. AAL is the symbol. Here from valuation, it's great. Momentum, C-. I don't know the specifics on the story. It's ranked 8 out of 26 in industrials. There's plenty of other names that are better. Delta Airlines just had a solid quarter. And Delta Airlines, best in the business. You're going to pay up for it. American Airlines, don't fly it. I mean, Jonathan, it depends on, look at the weekly. I mean, it's just, look at that 200-day. Now, the 200-day is stabled off here, but still not a great run company. Trade it. Don't love it. Matthew Russell, love the podcast. What are your thoughts on VICI and ARCC? I'm going to take, what's VICI? I only like one from you guys, Matthew. VICI, this is Vicky Properties. I think is it a REIT? Let's see. VICI. There's ball play going on behind me. Yeah, this is a REIT. I'm not a fan of REITs. I'm just not. It's a strong buy in the quant. I'm just not a fan of REITs. So VICI, I'm not a fan of. ARCC, I'm not. And the reason I'm not a fan of REITs, this is a financial ARCC, Ares Capital. Ranked 16. It's a buy. Ares Capital. What did they do? Are they a REIT? Business development. Nothing gets me excited about them. Again, if you want them in your thing, I mean, it's 16 out of 92. It's a buy in the quant. Blue Owl Capital's better. Take a look at these. So Matthew, I would say, neither one of those make me crazy, like, oh my God, I've got to get into them. But ARCC, you can see the stock's not as bad as VICI. On a weekly, it's still moving positive. I just think there's better places in the market for your money. But again, remember, I'm a douche on the internet. Scans, biggest one, Uber. Uber gets a cross up. Uber on a weekly basis, still containing that. We got 75.28. Is it turning around? Doesn't quite have confirmation. It's up 0.8%. But look at how freaking low that MACD is. I'm adding to this one. I want to add more. I will add at 75. I think it's an $80 stock. Their earnings are coming up next week or 2 weeks, April 29th. On. This Uber, by the way, part of the core portfolio. On. We talked about on being down at under 30. I don't think it's getting under 30 again. 32 seems to be a pretty good one. They had really good earnings. The MACD is down below the oscillator, making a cross up, and the RSI is at 47. You want to make some quick money? I think on will probably, with good earnings this week, I think that one goes up. McDonald's is one that went up. McDonald's, Lemonade, and Visa. McDonald's, this one's been beaten down. You want a good stock to buy? McDonald's. Look at 267. Now the algorithm makes you 1.4% versus 6.3%. This is not really a trade. This is more a stock that you buy because you love fast food and you love the Coke. I just read a story why Coke tastes so good at McDonald's. They serve it. Every other place gets their syrup in plastic bags. McDonald's gets it in aluminum jugs that are chilled, and they specialize the water. It's so good. The Coke is so good there. You can't beat it. McDonald's, cross up. Lemonade, which is an insurance company, not a fan of, but you can trade it. It got a cross up. And then Visa. If you want any, we talked about PayPal. I'm out of PayPal. If you want to get into this, the financial space, Visa is probably the way to do it. Look, the algorithm gets you in. It's got a bunch of buys right here and sells in the 4 hour. And that's because it's just playing around. It's tickling your balls with a feather. It's just going, that's what it's doing to you. And so if you want to get in, I think it's setting up for a nice move higher. Now, if we go over here and we look at Visa in the quant, it's a hold. And the reason is the valuation. Let's go look at the PEG value. The PEG, 2.14. It's ranked 11 out of 43. What do you want in financials? I got Square. I don't have Stone. You got Cash, you got Euronet, you got Corpay, MasterCard. MasterCard's bigger. Affirm, I can't believe Affirm scores higher than freaking Visa. The valuation is crazy on Affirm. These guys, I don't even think they're making money. But yeah. So there you go. If you have any questions, hit me up. Here is the link tree. The sale on Trendspider is going on. Seeking Alpha Premium going on. Remember, we have a new Alpha pick. So if you have any questions, hit me up. I still think the bull market goes. We got earnings this week. Remember, it's in the Daily Stock Pick newsletter. So sign up for the newsletter. Let us help you grow. I love that song. Okay, take care. Bye.
I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.